evening and happy Wisdom Wednesday to you. I am here tonight with Alvaro Pereiro and Joseph Dutkiewicz.
Hello.
They are a couple of my friends who really add value to me. They help me to see life in a different way, but they also let me talk through things and share the things that I'm learning with them. So I wanted to do that with you this evening. So, Joe, could you tell them a little bit about who you are, your business, and just introduce yourself a little bit further?
Sure. Well, here we go. Are you ready? Are you sure? You want the long story or the short story? I'll give you the short story. I left corporate banking, corporate world about 4 years ago, 4.5, almost 5 years now. Time's flying. And I've been spending time, the most rewarding thing has been spending time going across America and out to Guatemala to be able to help people realize what is within them that they want to accomplish, to evolve themselves from where they're at. And sometimes they feel stuck, and I hope they're paying attention to this call, this time, because there's some great stuff coming up, I'm just saying. And I gotta look like I can see here in the, that you don't think I'm got sunglasses on. Anyways.
Tonight we are looking to speak to people who are feeling stuck, feeling like they're in a rut, feeling like there's just an endless array of things to do, and yet what do we do about it? What can we do to move forward? And I know that my friend Alvaro has had a few of those moments. And Alvaro, could you share with them a little bit more about who you are before we get started?
Hi there, everybody. Long version, short version. I guess we're going to make it short, just like this. So, I was born in Argentina 31 years ago, but I guess that somewhere in my heart it was planted the seed that I always wanted to, experience what life is in the U.S. All right, not just life, but also, being able to just grow my craft, like what I do for a living, and that is music. I'm a violinist. So I did my undergraduate and my graduate degrees here in the U.S., and also I'm just very privileged to be performing for a symphony orchestra here in Lakeland and be teaching what for so many years I've been exposed to, and that is music. So and just absolutely blessed for not just doing what I do, but just dealing and just also meeting friends like Lisa and Mr. Joe. They're absolutely amazing, to say the least. So, yes, I'm just so grateful from the bottom of my heart. So, go ahead.
Well, it's beautiful. When you play, it really tugs on your heart, and I feel your passion coming through that violin. It's just so beautiful.
It means a lot,
music you play.
It means so much.
What's your favorite artist?
Wow, I have several favorite artists.
Well, pick the best one.
All right, I really like the Carpenters duo, believe it or not. Yes.
Really?
I love Enya as well. Yes, the Carpenters, absolutely.
I didn't expect that.
Rachmaninoff is probably one of my favorite classical composers.
That's more what I expected. Oh, goodness.
Well, why did Bert suddenly appear when we start talking like this, you see? That's a reference to one of their songs.
Yes, it is. So, in talking about the ruts, the times that we've been stuck in our life, I think there are 5 things that we need to do to really start moving forward. And I think for me, questioning is one of the first things that comes to mind. I find myself stuck, and I find myself saying, why? Why is this happening? Why can't I move forward? And it's then that I start becoming objective. Have you experienced the same?
Well, I think we all tend to have this point of revelation. We feel something happening. And there are a lot of people that feel that, but then they're stuck. They don't know where to go, what that next thing is. and they just think it's part of daily life.
Yeah.
So many people that I talked to just a couple days ago, I was in a conference, and these are people that are marketing people that are putting their product online and selling, and they're going one after another up to the microphone to the host, to the presenter, and saying, "I'm stuck. I don't know where to go. I don't know where to put any more money. I don't have any more money." And they just feel that they are at this point just trying to find that secret bullet. And yet what we're going to share tonight is all they really needed to know. Sure, the process is a little different than we're going to say because they need to put their product online and know about the technology. But when you get it all down, it's a simple set of steps to move forward.
Guys, to me, a lot of times it happens like when you go to a really great restaurant and you're really hungry and you find yourself like in front of a lot of great options. See, so in life, when you have so many options in front of you that all of them seem like part of your calling, it's like, oh my God, where do I start? It's like, what's going to be my first step? Because it's like so much that starts radiating you. It's like, oh my gosh.
That is a fantastic analogy, and I'll share with you guys a little bit more about that in just a moment. But for those who are joining us, I just want to say welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. I can see several of you logging in on the various phones, and I want to invite you to participate in this as a conversation. You can see we have our phones out, so if you have questions that you want us to answer, if you have situations that you're dealing with that you want us to address, put it out there, because that's what we want to do. We want to help you. We're here to serve you. We're here to share wisdom. It's Wisdom Wednesday, of course. So when you're stuck, question where you're at. Why are you there? How did you get there? Look at it as this big smorgasbord of restaurant choices. And Alvaro, you crack me up bringing that up just because Alvaro and I share this affinity for coupons. So we share different tips. I'll let him know. Today, in fact, well, you know, it's one of those things. You've got all these choices, and you got to make choices. Even the restaurants, you have to choose, right? So in those restaurant choices, today was a fantastic choice. Moving forward up until June 14th, here's your tip. Chick-fil-A has free breakfast. Yay! You just ask for your mystery item. So today we got free chicken, cheese, and egg bagels. So that's exciting things. Yesterday it was Checkers. We got free burgers. So, I don't know. It's just kind of a fun
Is that a rut in itself?
Yeah. So I think in this, talking about this rut, we don't always think about what's important. And I think the first part of determining what's really important is to remember your goals, remember your dreams, remember your why. So as we move forward, we're going to talk about that secret superpower that you have, that we all have. But it's remembering your why. What is it that you want in the long run? What is that big thing that you're after that's way out there that you want to bring a little bit closer to you, a lot bit closer to you, so that you can see it, you can feel it, you can experience it. So when we do that, priorities. You talk to us about priorities?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes, I think that priorities are definitely everything when it comes to, you know, just setting up, you know, that step by step, you know, what's really important. I think it really helps a lot when, you know, you just have a very sincere conversation with yourself. And then also helps when you have like paper and pen, and then you consider like all of the cons and, you know, the pros, the cons and pros, and, you know, put it side by side, and then start saying, okay, is this something that, you know, I really, really want to pursue, kind of thing. So what do you think about priorities?
Ooh, you're tossing it back at me.
Right.
I talked a little bit about priorities this morning.
Oh,
but
okay.
I know not everybody saw that. Priorities are one of these things that get skewed oftentimes. And I think the most important thing is, what is it that you want in the long run? Once again,
Okay.
that's the one thing that sticks out in my head. What happens is we have those high priority items that are going to net us the most long-term results. We've got medium priority items that give us long-term results, but they also give us that immediate satisfaction. And then there's the low priority things, kind of like our restaurants. Those are low priority items because they're giving us a short-term satisfaction. They have nothing to do with our long-term goals.
So I guess it's a good idea to intermingle big priorities with like middle priorities and like short priorities. I mean,
To an extent.
A mix of everything. To an extent.
To an extent.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest tip that I've been given recently, well, over time too, it comes back again and again, but it's great to be reminded of, is that those priorities, if you tackle the big ones first, tackle your big rocks first. First thing when you get out of bed, for me, I know it's really easy. I like a checklist that I can see, done, done.
Hit snooze button?
No. We do not hit the snooze button. That's a terrible way to start the day. I shouldn't say we. The correct pronoun would be I. I do not want to hit the snooze button in the morning because I don't know about these two. They do whatever they do in the morning. They've got their... I don't want to know. Don't hit the snooze button in the morning. Just jump right out of bed. Get yourself ready for the day. A lot of people will start in their pajamas, but don't do that either. Get dressed. Get ready for your day. Get your shower. Get dressed.
Wash your face. It really helps to like clear out those ideas and refresh yourself. Yeah.
It really does. And
Don't check this.
Oh, goodness. Facebook. Oh. I do enjoy seeing what's happened while I've been asleep. I don't know why. But it's one of those things. I like to feel connected. And yet, at the same time, I know that if I check my Facebook, I can get sucked in. And then all of a sudden, I'm under the boat. I want to see everybody else's Facebook lives. And I want to see, what's been happening in everybody else's world. Because I care. But then it's a trap for me. Because once I start that, it's one of those little priority things that's not netting me those long-term results. So I found that those things that are harder to do, the things that are outside of my comfort zone a little bit, those bigger rocks that I know are going to net the long-term results, those need to come first in my day. And then by the time I get to the lower priority items, I can coast right through the day and I'll feel good about the day. What about you, Joe?
Well, I think one of the things that I've been focusing on is really being intentional every day about those priorities, about taking the tasks then to meet up those priorities. Just because you have priorities doesn't mean that you're going to do anything. It's like saying, oh, I have, this to do, this to do, this to do, this to do. Okay, I'm going to sit on the couch now.
Yeah.
Right? And it doesn't get done because there's intention, but there's not intentional living. You're not doing the thing, doing it day in, day out.
Priorities go hand in hand with planning.
Yeah.
It's like so related to each other.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. So really, like as a coach, one of the activities is coaching. So I focus on the Rule of 5 that gets me to know that I need to touch each one of those activities because they sum up to working towards the bigger goal of improving myself, of being able to support my clients and help think into what they need. So for example, my daily 5 are to read and to write, to file, to reflect, and to network. And if I don't do each of those things, even, ideally we spend 2 hours in the beginning of the day, wake up early, get focused, and do those because we're refreshed, we're alive, we're ready to go at the beginning of the day, and then as the day comes on, our energy starts dropping down. And then we try to jump to coffee or something in the afternoon, try to get that pickup or, those large cans of energy drinks.
Okay.
But in the end, if I don't do the read, write, file, and all those things every day, even if I only spend 5 minutes on an activity, I'm not going to get towards fulfilling those priorities that I have.
I think one of the things that we joke about restaurants and stuff, but else enjoy salads. I don't look like it, but you know.
We did not bring to this table the free bagels from Panera.
Did not. Think about what you're putting into your body, because getting enough sleep, getting enough exercise, getting the right foods all play into helping you to get out of your rut.
Even going out for a walk and just breathing fresh air. It's just as simple as that.
Yes.
That's exactly it. And Alvaro is starting to get into that super secret power that we have.
Really? Are you going to share it now?
No.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Of course not, right?
No, of course we're going to share. Well, Tris is exactly right. For every 60 minutes of focus, we're going to take a 10-minute timeout. I've got mine at 50 minutes.
It works better on the calendar.
Yes. That's exactly why I chose 50 minutes, because I do 50 minutes and then I can take 10 minutes, get up, get a drink of water, you know. Even if that 10 minutes is utilized for me to do a smaller task, make a quick phone call. In fact, Trist is one of the people I call when I have that 10 minutes. Woo-hoo! Go Trist! So,
Fun daydream time. Yeah, I like that. Looking out the window, looking out the window, sunshine out here in Florida. We had a big rainstorm this afternoon. And now. But in between was the sun came back out, and just that warm energy, bringing yourself back up.
yes.
Really helps a lot. And helps you when you're thinking about that rut and seeing, when you think about, I think it was Eric that said rut is a grave with the ends knocked out, right?
Wow.
That was a good one, Eric. So if we only see if we can't see over the edges of that rut, we only assume there's a rut.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But the moment we can see the sun or we can peer over the edges, the world changes.
Yes. It's so different when you can see over the edges, but I just see this rut. It's like this never ending, when you said it was like a grave, I just have this picture in my head. It's just like this never ending canal. It's like a parallel line that never stops to infinity and beyond.
Or like the guinea pigs that are just like endlessly just walking, just running in their little, wheel thingy. How do you call those?
A hamster wheel.
The hamster wheel, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's really interesting because rut and rat, they all sound the same, except that one letter difference.
Leave it to an Argentinian.
we have that thing.
So I was telling Alvaro this week about one of my students, and Alvaro gets to sit in the next room, and he often gets to hear my sarcasm. Yes. Really? Me? Sarcastic? No.
Not at all.
No, I love my students. I love working with them. They make me laugh all the time. They make me think all the time. And this week, I was working on a student on the song Ein klein Nachtmusik. And this is a song that has come up many times in recent days for several different students. And there are some that we feel like Mozart is rolling over in his grave. It's never going to come together. It's that rut that never ends, right? The students will play it again and again and again, and not heeding the advice or the coaching that I'm offering at that given moment. So every time it's like, oh no. So I'll look at the student, I'll say, okay, it really has to come from you. It doesn't depend on me counting for you. You have to do that for yourself. So this week, as I was working with the student, my advice to her was to get sassy. Be sassy with the song. Bring it to life. Because, this is a totally different student, but I was tired of Mozart rolling over in his grave. I was ready for Mozart to sound sassy, seriously. So she was just like, sassy. I said, yes.
S in SASSY.
Yes. So she's pondering this thought of making the song sound sassy. I told her to think about the rhythm. And this is truly our super secret power. It's our rhythm in life. It's what we do with the rhythm in our life that's going to help us to get up out of that rut and start to move forward. For I'm playing Nachtmusik, this is the fun part of it. It was all about the counting. It's the long note followed by a short note and another long note. So for those of you who may not know the song, it's the one that goes bum, 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 dun, 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 dun. Bum, bum, da, 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 da. So we get to get some sass into that.
And then the boots and cats.
Put a little modern twist in there for it. But it's taking that time for the long 3-count note, followed by that much anticipated drop. Bum, bum, bum. You know, that long, just we wait for it. And that's what everybody loves about the song. They love that beginning part. But then when you get that second part, there's a rest. Just a moment of silence that we wait for. And then you hear this quiet, and then all of a sudden, da-da-da-da. That's what makes it fun, right? So as we're in our life, we've got these pauses. We have to stop. We have to pause when we hit these ruts. Because otherwise we can't anticipate, we can't stop, we can't think to move forward.
Yeah, and we can't, Pixar ran into this problem when they needed to shift gears. And really they look at it as a pivot. So, in tennis, if somebody was to keep running across the court, sooner or later they're off the court, right? They have to pivot and go back to get the ball coming back at them, right?
Exactly.
So it's in life. If we are simply focused on straight away, and doing this task every day, and we don't question it, and we don't take a moment to say...
it's what we call reevaluating.
Yeah, or recalculating by their
GPS.
Right? If we don't do that, if we don't stop and think and then pivot to course correct in our life, we're going to end up in a dead end or off the cliff. How many of the GPSs early on used to take you off the cliff?
I drove through a field great many times.
Yeah.
Oh my
God! To that GPS. Thankfully, that wasn't true, but.
So, in our life, we need to kind of take that moment, but then we need to be intentional and move forward into that.
So, what are some examples, either one of you, share your wisdom with us. How do you take time to pause in your life? What does a pause mean to you?
That's a great question. Joe, let's go.
Well, there's usually, I take my 10-minute segments and put them together and take a nap.
That is not...
That's very wise, right there.
No!
That's it. That's a secret.
Okay, I'll let you in on something. I tried that.
Yes.
And it didn't work.
It didn't work?
In fact, what I wanted to do, and dear Coach Eric, I think we talked about this, didn't we? What I really wanted to do, I filled in my calendar. I started out with my big chunks, my big rocks that I was going to go through, and all of a sudden I thought, oh man, I must waste a lot of time. Then I started putting in the other priorities. I thought, oh man, I've got a lot to do. And I thought, where's the me time? I need me time. So I thought, well, I'm going to carve out a whole day But it doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. It's important to take a day for yourself, absolutely. And I don't think that we need to feel guilty about it. So many people feel like they've got to be busy. They've got to have their calendar full. They've got to have contacts made all the time. They've got to constantly be attached to the lovely cell phone just because it's okay. If we're not attached to the cell phone, we might miss something. Oh my goodness, that's terrible. And yet, it's what adds to our busyness. It gives us a false sense of importance, a false sense of identity. It's not really who we are. We don't get to think and give ourselves credit for our own lives. We're all of a sudden being controlled by the lives that are all around us. So taking that 10 minutes every hour is valuable. It clears our mind. It helps us to think.
And we were talking on a previous Facebook Live about, I think, the importance of recharging. And I think that all of these aspects that you just mentioned, all of these things that gives us a false sense of security, or like they're keeping us busy and everything, we don't realize it, that they start draining us. It starts draining us our tank, our tank of, the sense of self, like, the true identity of this, of connecting to our essence. So you were asking earlier how pauses are for me. Well, I think that it's really important to always, like when you're taking that pause, is to go back to what's inside of you, that love that created you in the first place, that resilience that you have within you, that I guess like so many of us can miss at times. I mean, myself included, with the difficulties of life, it just becomes so difficult to hear that because it's a very quiet voice, it's a very quiet state. So even if it's like, for 10 minutes, just, taking the time to close your eyes and breathe in and breathe out and invite nothing but positive thoughts, and not just the positive thoughts, but also like, just nothing in your mind, and just leaving everything else and just flowing out of that like leaves on a stream. It's essential. It's really, really essential.
That is a good point, Alvaro. Is that point of breathing and determining. So our mind. This morning I was on a conference, and this reminded me of.
Yes.
You can be totally overwhelmed by sitting there watching screens go by and people talking, but when you sit there and listen, and this piece of information came across, this wonderful thought of the mind is either going to accept positive or negative. It can't do both. So at any moment, you're either attracting the positive thoughts or putting into yourself attractive thoughts. You're telling your mind, you're instructing your mind, I'm valuable, I'm going to take this break, it is worth to me, this is of value to me.
It's very
because if you don't, you can instruct your mind to say, my life, I talk about tribal leadership, and stage 2 is my life sucks. And stage 3 is I'm great and you're not. And most of our life, they've categorized because they've looked at people across the world, and he said, when people across, when we on average, we're living in stage 2, stage 3 throughout our entire life. Mm-hmm. So when we get into this rut, it's very hard for us then to get above, because we then find ourselves getting pushed back from the people around us, because we are not taking that time to say where we are focused, and we're not trying to get to the share and discover stage that we need with relationships, with connections, with what our bodies crave, and that's being connected to others.
Very, very important. Our words, if we want to get out of a rut, we must think positive. It's incredibly important to take the power of a pause. And
we have the option of choosing whether we want to make that shift or not.
Yes.
Like this morning, I was texting Lisa, about certain things that are going into my life, and something that I was quite not expecting. And then she just texted, "Oh, happy thoughts here. spaghetti and so-and-so. Here comes the so-and-so. It's like, yes. You know, she helped me, just assisted me with that. That's why these two guys in here, I just, so incredibly just wonderful, to say the least.
Will you
because and yes, I just made that shift from something that was happy but serious to completely happy. And I'm like, yes, go with it. So just decided to make that shift immediately. And it's just like Joe said, and I can't agree more. It's either or. I don't think you go in between. Like you're either going like super positive, you know, with the thoughts, or it's going to be demeaning, you know, one way or another. So,
will you help me out here?
Of course.
Will you please tell our listening audience that spaghetti was not my first comment of positivity? I did give you something of more value than that.
Yes. A lot more than that. Well, she said basically.
It's okay if you don't want to share what I said. That's fine, but I just want you to know that.
Here?
Yes. I want you to know that I'm not that shallow.
But what I'm going, you know, behind, it's like, it's the intention, it's that positivity that, it did not come, I mean, probably the way I made it sound was like, oh, you know, shallow and stuff, but it wasn't. Had so much wisdom. It's just like, you know, you have to look at the bright side. You know, towards the end of the month, you will see that it's going to be more useful than you thought it would be. It's like, wait a minute, yeah. Actually, that makes a lot more sense in that way. And then I just discovered that maybe it's partially from a pressure that I put in myself that put me in that kind of situation. And it reminded me of that. So I confronted that and just realized that, yes, I had to make that shift. And that's when the spaghetti comment came too.
Again, and that's important because yes, we can make only yes or no answers or positive and negative, but one of the researchers, it's called the Abraham Hicks Emotional Guidance Scale. And there's 23
to Esther Hicks or no?
No.
Oh no,
I'm not sure. I don't think so. But there's a 23-point scale that says 1 is appreciative, I have joy, I have happiness, filled with gratitude, and the other end of the scale is grief, depression, fear. So, and any step, so if you find yourself in depression or grief or the next step up where you're feeling worthless, worthlessness is better than being depressed, being helpless, because worthless means you've already made a decision that you are better. There's some little aspect that's a little bit better. You made a positive, you made one positive to move up. And that's through life. We find ourselves moving on that scale, on a particular day. But the more we can put positive, the faster we can move that scale forward and keep us in an area that fulfills us. And what happens? What happened when you felt that change come over you? What did your...
It was a warm feeling all around me. I mean, it's just even physically, you just feel that beam of light, and it was an immediate change. See, but I needed to just stop, make that pause and just reflect and go back to that place and make that decision and say, I'm shifting. I'm not letting this, I am not letting this make me think the way I was thinking before. I'm just going to strive to go the other direction. The thought. So.
And you are able to do that fairly quickly. I appreciate that about you. I'm able to give this advice because I've had years of experience with it. I'm not one. I've had my times that were struggle, and I know what it's like to have to choose and make that choice. It's not easy, and there are days that I still struggle with that. As those who are closest to me do know that. But I see that we have some new people here. I want to welcome you here. Thanks for joining us.
You don't have to be dressed in blue to join us. That's a good thing.
we are glad that you are here. And we want to welcome you with open arms, great big hugs. If you're feeling stuck and in a rut,
Yep.
we're talking about how to get out of it. The first thing we talked about was question where you're at. Become objective. Remove yourself from that situation and take an outside look at it. The second one was to remind yourself of your why. What are your big goals? What are your big dreams? What is it that you're really going after? So as you're taking that objective look, you know what's most important. And third, you can prioritize. Prioritize them by the things that are most important, netting you the long-term results that you're looking for. Then by medium importance, and then be careful with those things that are easy to take off the checklist, because those are the ones that distract us and get us on another path. And now we're talking about your secret power, the power of pause. And what I love about this is that pause can be either passive or active.
Oh, God.
We can just sit back and we can close our eyes, or we can daydream and have that passive pause. The passive pause maybe of just clearing our mind by talking to a friend or going for the walk. We can have that active pause too. The time of pause that's building into your long-term goals. And I think that's just as important as all of these passive pauses that we're talking about. When you take the time to pause, to truly look into what you want, what is it that is in the desires of your heart? What is it that you actually feel called to do? What is it that you really desire to do, what you want? And thinking into those things, creating a plan, putting that plan in front of you, that's going to be your fresh start. That's where we begin to see ourselves become enriched by the power of our thoughts, because we've got it in our mind, we put it down on that paper.
Napoleon Hill said very clearly, thoughts are things.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just incredibly powerful. And even when we are planting those seeds, we have to remember that in life, it's just like landscaping. I mean, we have mountains, but we also have valleys. And it is a fact of life. It happens, it happened to me as a student, and it happens to me as a teacher too. We experience plateaus. They are absolutely unavoidable. It seems like we are going nowhere, but we're actually planting those seeds and we are going somewhere, even if we don't realize it. And we have to constantly remind ourselves of that. When we remind ourselves of that, I think that it really reminds us of that why and that how and where we're actually walking to. And that's where going into that place of love within yourself that created you is just so important, because it will give you that patience with yourself while in this time of plateaus. But plateaus are a fact of life. They always happen. But that's what shapes us.
It is. All of the hard times we go through. And I love looking at the examples we find in the Bible. We find things like pruning in a vineyard. We find the potter. And I think about potters. What do they have to do to create that beautiful work of art? Sometimes they actually have to smash it down, start all over, create it again. And then that piece of pottery ends up in a kiln. And that kiln heats up to, I don't even know how many degrees, 1,000 degrees, is it? 1,000 degrees? I have no idea.
Long time ago I did pottery.
But it's been a long time. Right? You think about the incredible pressure that piece of clay went through to be shaped, to be reshaped, to be fired, and then glazed and fired again. That's a long process. We think about going through a refiner's fire, for example, gold. If gold isn't taken through a refining fire, it doesn't become pure.
Same as the diamonds. The diamonds even, even more so.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So all of these things that we see as precious items go through tremendous pressures. The pressure that you're going through, no matter what it is a pressure that's creating you to be the person that you are designed to be. There is a path that's been already created for you. You have a purpose. There's a plan. We need to find it. We need to grow into that person that we are designed and created to be. So taking the time to pause and think into that is an essential part of living a life of excellence and moving forward.
Yeah.
Very importantly, remember that excellence doesn't mean perfection. We are human beings. You can do things outstandingly with excellence, and yet we can have, just like we're saying, if something precious has a little bit of imperfections if you look at it microscopically. So remind yourself that.
Yeah. So, but with thoughts, you mentioned thoughts are things. Yes, thoughts are things, but we have to bring them from our minds. We have to create them. We have to bring them into being, and that requires action. And that's our fifth one, is really focusing on action. We really need to take immediate action. If we hold off on that action, what happens? We forget about it. How many times?
Not only do we forget about it, I think
I'm stopped
by my fear.
Yeah.
When I don't take action, my fear all of a sudden, it's like it's got this death grip on me. It suddenly takes me out. And people think, well, you're so brave. You take these steps that nobody else would think about taking. And yet, it's not bravery. It's simply living into what I know and believe is my passion and purpose.
This might sound so basic, but it's so true. Courage is not the lack of fear, but it's going for it in spite of what you have inside. And just knowing that it is part of just shaping yourself, getting outside of that comfort zone, or that rut.
Exactly.
Right. And, Trista says, get mad, get over it, and move forward. And it's it's about that fact of recognizing, in case, wherever we're stopped in this rut, the fear, recognizing for what it is, and then saying, okay, why did this happen? Getting to the cause, and then addressing the cause and saying, okay, time to move forward. If we stop, if we think about something, and then move to take action, but we don't then persist through that, we stop at the first sign of resistance, then we're not going to do it. We're going to face the fear, and we're not going to question fear. We're going to say, oh, fear's right, because it's much easier to cave into fear than it is to persist.
Yeah.
And as you were mentioning, Lisa, you said that what is precious, we're unique. The probability of each of you being born at the moment you were born, in the place you were born, well, first of all, being born, in the place you were born, to the parents you were born,
where are you getting
with the specific DNA is 1 in 400 trillion. Now that's a huge number, but just it has also been said that this little thing up here,
oh my goodness,
can identify 1 trillion smells.
You can tell who's the smart one of the bunch.
But so precious, you would say this is pretty precious. You can smell a trillion things, and people that are
this is precious.
This is precious. You're precious because of who you are, the uniqueness you bring. But if you stop that, you say, I can't go on. I'm handcuffed.
Ooh.
You're taking away your preciousness, or you're handcuffing somebody else and handcuffing them from being their value, their uniqueness that can change their world and make a difference. We're all called to make a difference. And we need to, though, take immediate action. Because the longer it sits, the longer it gets on the shelf. But we also need to do it together. Because one person cannot deliver.
You probably guys heard this so many times, but you start. For those change the world just by one action, one person, one thing at a time.
Absolutely. I'd like to respond to
go ahead.
a couple of these comments. Eric says, I must be better than a diamond with all this pressure. Eric, my dear friend, you are so precious. Yes, you've got to be better than a diamond with all the pressure you're going through. But you set a great example to the world. You add a lot of value to those who are near and far. You've got a world presence, and I love that about you. And I love the fact that we can interact and have fun together. So, yeah, hey, go handle that pressure. I'm learning from you. I'm enjoying too. She says, I just thought about Grandma's pressure cooker. It whistled until you took away the heat. Isn't that cool? Like, if we're in the midst of our heat and all this pressure, so Eric, all you gotta do is start whistling. That's awesome.
There's your tomorrow morning's 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Facebook Live message.
If you
Be
get
a whistler.
If you haven't seen Eric Reed's Facebook Lives, join him. Go add him as a friend. He enjoys getting friend requests, as do I. And I'm sure these guys too. But add him as a friend. Eric does great coaching calls every morning, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. So join him.
And what time are you on normally?
It's been a struggle.
Just kidding.
No excuses.
No, I'm giving you the facts here, just the facts.
Just the facts?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was struggling. I had my Facebook Live in the evening, and by the time evening came, just like we were talking, we start feeling that energy depleted, and my whole day was gone by, and it's like, oh, I still gotta find the energy for this. But it was tough because I fought through that energy barrier. I did my Facebook Live, and then all of a sudden I had all this energy, and it backfired against me because then what was happening is that I was ending up staying up too late at night, and then I wasn't starting my morning when I wanted to. So I started doing my Facebook Lives at 7:45, and I was missing my mark a little bit, so I kind of let it slip somewhere in that little half an hour, but I've been looking at it, and it looks like you prefer me to go on closer to 7:45 than a little bit after 8. So my goal is to get back to the 7:45 time slot, because then I can do my Facebook Live, and then I love jumping onto Eric's directly following. So join me in the morning, 7:45.
That was a long answer just to say, yes, I take immediate action when I feel that I need to help people out there, and what's on your mind every morning. Right?
I do try that. Yes.
So
immediate action, that's a big thing.
So what can we do immediately? If we're in this rut, what can we do, Lisa? What is the thing that we can, we got the 5 steps. We shared that tonight. We talked about, this super quality that we have. What can we do to jumpstart and jump out of that rut?
What can we do? The first thing is to join the 30-day mindset group. That's simple. It's easy. Just send a comment. You can choose to Facebook message any one of us or send us a message another way. Let us know that you want to be a part of the 30-day mindset group. It's free. There's inspirational stuff. I love when Alvaro jumps on the group and he's adding value there. I'm adding value there. And we have some special... I do. Alvaro doesn't know it all yet because I haven't told him because he's a participant and I'm just having fun cooking all of this up. But I have a very specific 30-day plan in place for this month, and in fact, it starts tomorrow.
Woo!
So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to bring that back and move forward with you. I also have a fresh start 1.eventbee.com. It's another study that you can join us with. And I'm going to let Joe talk to you about it. I have different team members that add value into the coaching and the teaching that I do. Joe is one of those people who adds some of that value. Much appreciated, Joe, all of the work that you do. So Joe was busy. I set him to the task of creating the Facebook page, or the event page, for what we're doing moving forward. So Joe, I'm going to give you the privilege of sharing exactly what we've put out there for everybody to join us in. It's exciting. Yes. I'm looking forward to this too.
This is we feel the fear, we feel the stop, we stay in the rut, and then we look around and say, what can we do? What can we do? Or we just go through life and we're not we look back and we say, geez, 2 years, where'd it go? And we're not any further along than we were. Now, one of the things that we looked at and has helped us, looking at Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and looking at those principles in chapter 9, Eric points out, And I love
Start
chapter 9.
reading it.
Chapter 9 is about
Everybody, yes.
persistence, and we were talking a little bit about that earlier. But that is kind of the linchpin for the whole Think and Grow Rich. If you are not going to persist, it doesn't matter what your desire is. It doesn't matter what you have as a thought that you want to bring in as a dream to reach, to achieve. You're not going to achieve it unless you're going to persist through to see it to the end.
Mm-hmm.
And this, we've looked at it. We've not only had great success in seeing ourselves congruent with those principles, and that's why we're seeing success, but we're also saw many people, hundreds of people that were on the calls with us, that their life was changing at that moment, because they were recognizing what they were doing. They were recognizing this change that was happening. And I saw it so many times with instruction, where we're talking about a particular principle and being able to say, this is what we need to do. And they look at it and say, that's why I wasn't able to achieve what I needed to achieve. That's why I'm still where I'm at, because I gave this up. I gave up my dream. I was watching a conference go by online, and in the comments, I wanted to be a chef, and people told me, don't do that. There's too many chefs. Forget it. So the person is still where they're at, and they didn't become a chef because they listened to the people, and we covered this application, this study, how and what is the right process. Get people around you to lift you up. We're also, Lisa's got her book, and this is really about the fresh wind coming. If we're in the rut, the wind's going right over the top of us, and that's why my top of my head is like this. And I'm close, but I'm not quite out of the rut. Seriously, when we go into the storm, if we're in the storms like we're here in Florida, it gets really hot, humid, and there's not a breeze, and it gets really stagnant and really tight, and then the wind comes, rain comes. But when that stops is when we realize the next breath. We know the storm has ended. We feel the warmth of the sun. We feel that fresh air coming at us, and that's what we need in our life. And we want to share this with you because I know you need something. You're looking at this and being on this call this long because you recognize something in your life that you want to change, that you feel this calling to reach and get to it. So it's an 8-week study. It's looking at Napoleon Hill, and it's all new, updated content, but we're also bringing in Lisa's content of what she recognized across the trip, the lessons she learned in getting that fresh wind, walking across from Tybee Island to Shreveport, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
855 miles in 100 days.
Yeah. And
that's a remarkable thing. Crossing across America, walking, or riding on a bicycle. So there's many stories there that Lisa's going to bring to bear. So you're going to get the books, you're going to get the study, you're going to be able to get the teachings, and every week we're going to have a sharing. And we encourage you to become part of that study. And so go to Fresh Start 1, the number 1, freshstart1.eventb.com, and we'll put it in the comments. But go sign up. And then if you really want to speed, if you want to get out of that rut with, lightning speed, almost feels like Cars 2.
Cars 3, it's about pretty much.
Then there's a speed portion. That's personalized coaching, one-on-one. You get what you want out of it, and we help you one-on-one to reach above. So take a look at it. If you have any comments, feel free to look at it. But, as we come together and close this out, we just really want to thank you because you're taking time here, and we hope we gave you some value. And, feel free to share this. There might be somebody around at work or somewhere that, in your family, whatever, that might need this discussion that we had today, might need to think into how they can move forward. They're in a rut, or they're at a crossroads. They're at that pivot point and they're trying to figure out what they need to do to go ahead. So share it with it, and feel free to comment.
Yes, always like, comment, share. Join us for that 30-day. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
The 30-day mindset challenge. It is really an incredible place to start. You can do both the mindset challenge as well as the classes and coaching that Joe talked about as well. Feel free to pick and choose whatever you make of it. Make it your own. Make it your course to move forward. And above all, use that secret superpower you've got.
Yep.
Utilize the power of the pause to help you get up and out of your rut. That's all we have for you this evening on Wisdom Wednesday. Thank you, Alvaro, for joining us.
It truly is my pleasure.
Yes, thank you, Alvaro. And thank you,
guys.
Joe, for all the work that you've done, for joining us tonight, for setting up the page for me.
Thanks.
I appreciate that. And to each one of you watching, be blessed and have an incredible night as you move forward. And we wish you all the best in reaching your dreams and your goals.
And just like Mozart, why not?
Yes, dun, dun, dun.
Bye.